that possible? Oh, you guys, everyone who's watching the VOD and missing it live, I've got Mountain Dew, Zero Sugar, Baja Blast. It's going to be our treat of the evening. Pinky out. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, Saturday, I've been playing Fear. Look at it there. Yes, good. Been playing Fear this afternoon. I don't know, I've got to be close to the end of Fear at this point. We'll see. But I am trucking through, and I know there's like 2 kind of big expansions for it, Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate, so working on those, getting it done. So then we'll go from there. We're here to just chill. We've got like a half-hour cap on this. We're just gonna kind of hang out for a minute. How's everyone doing on this Saturday afternoon? Yo, here with the boys Ted and Jesse watching you live. Whoop, whoop, yeah. So I'm saying, you missed me opening my Baja Blast Zero Sugar. We're gonna have that tonight. I was just saying that I'm working through Fear right now. Oh, I need just this. And they have these flying robots that have like 3 arms. And they shoot lasers. And kind of the only way that you can outmaneuver them is if you go into slow motion. What's up, Toker? How you doing? Welcome to the Saturday afternoon stream. We're just chilling. We're just chilling for a little bit. So, working through Fear. And I know these aren't long games, but man, these levels are killing me. They're so tedious. That they like Fear has the same problem as Max Payne, which is also dabbles in that slow-mo combat stuff. We're all working through Fear in our own ways. You know what? We've got an election. I hope everyone voted. Hope everyone got their ballots in. Hope everyone did. But Fear has the same problem that Max Payne definitely too had, where you are just battling through these generic environments to justify you having cover and battling enemies in slow motion. So, what's up, Mouse? Hi. It looks like a painted hand turkey in there. Fixing a garage door, so you're lurking a bit. I can understand. Is it chilly there? How's it going? Because it's like 50 something here right now. After this, I'm going to go film the Patreon Q&A. So if you are a paid Patreon supporter, you can see me answer questions. And if you're a producer, which is the $5 tier and higher, you can actually pitch questions for me to answer on there at length. So I'll be doing that after this. And then I'm going to settle down with some whiskey. Just chill a bit. Right around freezing. Oh my god. That's probably why you're fixing the garage door. Ha! Oh my gosh. We're having a chill Saturday afternoon. Today, I kind of wanted to talk about the new NakeyJakey video about Microsoft. It's about a half hour long. I kind of forgot. I don't know. Yahoo, you'll have to kind of refresh me a little bit, but I think it wasn't last year, but I think the year before, where his flow kind of dribbled down to like not much because he was doing his music thing. And I don't know how far he got with that. I know Anthony Fantano didn't care for that stuff. They're fine, whatever. But he's an artist, and I want him to work on the art. That is what's important to me, is NakeyJakey making his art. So he made this video. We released it 2 days ago, I think it is. And it's about Microsoft. It's like Microsoft's everything. Hang on, I've got everything here. Where are we at? No, stop. No autoplaying video. Microsoft sucks at everything. And want to talk about this not specifically because I disagree with anything per se, but I do think that in a very roundabout way, he eventually gets to the point of like what is Xbox now, right? And a lot of the video is him talking about really old stuff, like warming over the antitrust stuff from 25 years ago and Windows XP. And I know that I, as a PC gamer of that vintage, of that era, I remember like one or two bad things, especially in that era of LimeWire, would completely destroy whatever Windows was trying to do. So it'd be like every 6 months, I would be reinstalling Windows entirely and reinstalling all of my drivers and software and this and that. Yeah, he does kind of go get kind of around just to get to the point of the video. Yeah, and you know, I'm sure he had plenty to complain. Like Windows 8, who liked Windows 8? I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. But also, I'm a defender of Windows Vista. I thought Windows Vista was fine too. But you know, warming up the antitrust stuff from 1998 or 1997 is like, all right, buddy, I got you. Yeah, the naming conventions of the Xboxes suck. Xbox, it should be like Xbox X, Xbox S, or Xbox M. As he points out, like the sound is very familiar or similar to each other. So like this whole series thing, the One X, the one, like Microsoft has had terrible names for their products forever. And I think there's a point he makes where like the original Xbox had Halo. That was the killer app. Halo 2, 1 and 2, and then definitely 3, and less so the 343 games, 4, 5, and eventually Infinite as the killer app. There was tons of games supporting that, but I mean, Halo was going to age out eventually, and there were tons of other games on there that didn't quite get the love. Like, how many years was Project Gotham Racing overshadowed by Need for Speed? Because it didn't have that popular Too Fast, Too Furious, like, popular bend to it. So, like, there are a lot of really cool games on Xbox, but they aren't given quite the attention that I think people see in Sony consoles. Spider-Man, The Last of Us Again, The Last of Us Again. The remakes and that, I guess, take advantage of idled staff to ensure that they don't completely bored and they still produce a product every so often. But I think the point that he eventually gets to is, what is Microsoft doing these days? What is Xbox? Because in a statement that from Phil Spencer that he highlights, he's saying, yo, we're not going to be able to sell more hardware than the other guys. The Xbox One was the worst generation to lose because everyone started building their digital libraries at that point. And he's right. Phil Spencer was right. And so what is this business now of console gaming if it isn't having the most number of consoles out there, shipping the most consoles, selling the most consoles? If it's not that, what are the console wars anymore? And Microsoft is trying to, it sounds kind of cliche or even reductive, but this idea that they're trying to do the 4D chess thing with, we can't sell more consoles, we have to make our business somewhere else. And their numbers are higher than ever because they just spent $70 billion buying Activision, which is an absurd purchase. It has always been an absurd purchase. And, there was a time where, even when I'm growing up, where you couldn't have a console war without a mascot. Who's the mascot? Nintendo's got Mario. Sega's got Sonic. PlayStation kind of had Crash, but they didn't really, they kind of used him in promotion and stuff like that. But you could, and then the bits, 64-bit console versus a 32-bit console, and then that got really hazy around the PS2 and the Xbox because their CPUs could address different registers of data at any time, and like none of that really mattered to begin with. So it's like whatever, doesn't matter. So there's the idea that you're in a post-console future where each console that comes out costs more than the previous one, and the experience is exactly the same. They're talking, Jeff Gershman, he gets emails in where it's like, man, I wish my console made a different sound when it started up. Like if you have an Xbox, it's doo-doo-doo, and that's been the same sound it's made for a decade. They haven't done anything to change that. They want to make this continuous platform. And I don't like, some people don't like that. They want to spend $500 on a new console, or $400 on a new console, or $300 on a new console, or in the case of the PlayStation 5 Pro, spend $700 on a new console, and they want something to justify putting that money in. Like, obviously, it's fine for Sony because they're selling this console hardware and making their money, presumably at a profit at that point, because they're not even including the optical drive at that price. But the idea that Sony's making their money and you are not getting that generational upgrade. And granted, consoles don't upgrade drastically like they used to. Like back in the day, you got a new console and the graphics were a billion times better. From the Atari VCS to the NES, so the NES to the SNES, from 2D SNES to 3D PlayStation and N64. Like, we saw those drastic turns. Nowadays, what's the difference? What's really a difference? Who cares if it's 8K 120 or 4K, even 4K 120, 4K 60? My goodness, who cares? People are drumming themselves up to justify getting this new hardware. Phones, same thing. People are whining about not having 120 hertz refresh on their phones. Who cares? Who cares? So this idea that Microsoft is in this console generation where they believe they don't need to sell console hardware, but also they're not going to sell more Xboxes. What are they going to do? They got Game Pass. That's their thing. And then that's a matter of how many games do you get on there. You got to get games on Game Pass for it to be worth it. And I think that's an argument. Like, if you're into Halo, what do you got? You've got this one Halo game, because these games take forever to make now. I remember, when Bungie was making them, it was every 3 years. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 years each. And when they came out, it was an event. It was, we're stopping the world and doing that. And now that it's been 20 years since Halo 2 came, God, I feel old. God, that makes me feel old. 20 years since Halo 2? I bought the strategy guide for it. I have this. Do I have the strategy guide? I definitely have the strategy guide for 3. But I think I had it for 2 as well. Do you need a strategy guide for Halo? Man. And the idea that their games are going to different consoles. They're becoming a different release. Thank you for bringing that up, Toker. Midnight releases. Oh my God. That was such a huge deal. With the original Xbox, I was too young. I bought the original Xbox on November 15th, 2001. I'd been waiting. I'd become this rabid fanboy, and I paid in cash. And my first 3 games were Halo, Project Gotham Racing, and Air Force Delta Storm, because I wanted the airplane game. And I didn't get to do it. My mom drove me down to Best Buy, the Best Buy I worked at, and we had 45 consoles, and it was $300. And I bought it, and I was like, hell yeah. And I already had the monster cables. I bought the component monster cables. And I bought a laptop bag for it. But it wasn't until the 360 that I actually did a midnight release, and that kind of goes hand in hand with um, the emphasis of physical games, because I have not bought a physical game. I know people are like preservation, or they're out in a place where the internet is not as available, but I have not bought a physical game on console or PC in something like 11 years, 12 years, something like that. And something that goes along with that is you're not going to a store to pick it up at midnight anymore. And it's not like it's a bummer. Like, it was a spectacle, because here you are, you're waiting in line with all these other fellow nerds for this thing, and there's an excitement. I mean, if you've ever gone to a Black Friday sale, as stupid as they are, because it's usually about like Tupperware or awful TVs or whatever the heck, there's an excitement. There's this communal thing, even if it's just stupid consumerism. Like, it's fun because you're all part of you're all joined in a common interest. It's, excuse me, exciting. It's this Baja Blast. That's what it's doing. I'm not shilling. No one pays me anything. Hi, Tink. Hello. But there's this excitement. I remember for the Xbox 360, my Best Buy was not allowed to do a midnight release. So I had to drive to the south of Denver, and I waited for 13 and a half hours. And I was tempted to wait a little bit. I was going to give them a call and ask how long the line was. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to pack up. I'm going to bring my OG Xbox box, and because I was going to hold a place for my supervisor who was working. And I've even written about this at length. I'll post it maybe in Patreon at some point for even free members. If you're not a free subscriber to the Nth Review Patreon, it's free. There are obviously different benefits if you give me money, but I'll put that in there if you guys ask. But yeah, talking games. Monster cables were wildly. Yeah, of course they were. You had the gold tips. People thought that meant anything, and it's just copper all the way through. But yeah, I wrote this whole thing about the Xbox 360 launch, and it got cold, and we were across from a Costco, and people were like buying a TV from Costco, playing games in line. I was 46 or 44, something around there, when I showed up at like 10:30 in the morning, and I waited all the way until midnight, and then it was another hour still, and they were forcing people to buy bundles. That was the big business thing. Thank you, Mass. They were forcing people to buy bundles, and they weren't like, it wasn't just that they were bundles; they were stupid bundles. You know, there was the arcade and the main system, and the arcade didn't have a wireless controller, but they would bundle in a wireless charge pack with it. You had to buy it like that. And I remember I only had enough money for the console because I'd already bought all the accessories at my store the day before or in the days before. So I knew one of the district managers, because that was the district office, and I was able to leave with just a console. But as I understand it, as I left, I left the parking lot at like 1:20, 1:30 in the morning, drove back, and there was apparently some real big police activity after I left. Like, the crowd just became unruly because they only had 120 consoles, I think, and like a chunk of them were cores, so you'd have to buy extra stuff with it. But the thing is, then I had to work my not midnight release, but my morning release. So I'm all the way up all day the day before, waiting till midnight, getting my console, bringing it home, and I'm starting to play my 360 in the morning at, God, when did I get back? Like 2:30 or something? And I'm turning on my Xbox 360, and it sounds like a hairdryer is being flipped on, like an airplane's about to take off. And I'm trying to be as quiet as possible because my brother's sleeping, and I'm playing Project Gotham Racing 3 because there was no Halo. I played Condemned, which is interesting because I'm playing Fear right now. And what else did I have? Perfect Dark Zero. That was a weird freaking game. Oh my god. What a weird game. Which makes me want to play it again. Kinda. Kinda. I remember playing the multiplayer. But you don't have that spectacle of game releases anymore. You just pre-order it online, they send it to you. That's it. And hopefully people don't steal it off your porch. And that's the future that we've kind of overwhelmingly voted for with our wallets. We don't want to have to go to a store and buy a physical shiny disc in a plastic case and then bring it home so that we can then insert it into our console. We just download it. And there was that report that came out that something like 91% of Xbox sales now are digital. I don't know how true that is, but yeah, of course. So yeah, like that, and that entire thing. I remember Call of Duty was the same way. I've shot a little mini documentary when we did Modern Warfare 2 back in 2009, right at the end there. And I shot it is Bravo Bravo Yankee, and it was a 2-part thing, and because of YouTube length. And it was an event. You had 150 people in there buying their copies of Modern Warfare 2. It made it a tournament and everything. Gave a prize, all that stuff. And we did Halo Reach the year after, but by then I'd been let go by Best Buy, so I didn't get to. I got to help with the promotion, and then like the week before it happened, they let me go, or that I was still suspended. It was so dumb. It was so dumb. But yeah, that stuff's gone. And that, I think that's the future that everyone's having to cope with. Even if you don't like putting physical games in your console, just having them. There's other parts of that experience that are gone now, and they're not coming back. I mean, E3's dead now. E3 used to be a king, and there are other events. I'd still want to go to PAX. I'd love to go to PAX. But the gaming get-together thingy, and it's a thingy, it's gone. We wished it away out of convenience. I don't know. That was me ranting for a bit. How are you guys doing? I love how every time I do a live event, there'll be like 2 or 3 unsubscribes like right away. That's just how it works. It's funny, the only place I hear about having cool related release parties at the Nintendo store in New York. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, if you made launch events fun, if you did exclusive stuff. I remember ahead of the 360 launch, I want to say it was it October or something. They had that area, it wasn't Area 51, but it was in the Mojave Desert. They had a airplane hangar. They had this big event, and if you were in the area, you could get an invite to go to this Xbox event at this airplane hangar out in the desert. And if I was young, I was still younger. I was 21 at the time. If I'd been able to, I would have gone. But like people stayed there overnight or something. It was like an overnight event, and all the brass were there. I mean, I went to E3 several times. I went to 5 E3s before they closed it down. And there's just something so cool about going to a place that is exclusive. There's things going on. There are important gaming peeps there. And that's exciting, but that seems like it's kind of in the realm of the influencers. Or the people who just happen to be in town. New York, LA, the same thing. I like listening to Nextlander. They talk about just the random press event that they'll have. But we get podcasts and streamers like you in exchange. Yeah, exactly. You got it. You got it, buddy. Yeah. And yeah, if you never had a nostalgia for it, you don't care. Like if you're, Gen Z kid, you don't care what E3 is. You've probably never been to E3. E3 was an industry event. You had to really kind of hack your way through. You had to really figure it out. I remember going as a Best Buy employee twice. And then we found other ways. But Yeah, that physical grouping together. Going into a store, I mean, there's no one even staffed in gaming now. You go to Best Buy, there's no one staffed in gaming. They're kind of just in this broad, because they've got like 2 departments now. So, old man yells at cloud. That's what he does. Do 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 do. Let's have another sip of our Baja Blast. And even Game Pass, when they release games, it's like I like the convenience of being able to just pay one monthly fee. Or with Outlaws, I paid for Ubisoft Plus on top of the Game Pass thing, which I don't know if I even needed to do that. But I paid for Ubisoft Plus. I paid like $40 to play Star Wars Outlaws for 2 months, and I just. What are you laughing at, mouse? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you've seen me stream in previous months. I'll go on Game Pass and be like, what's even cool on here? Because there's so much stuff on there. Train Simulator. I'm going to play Train Simulator, Farm Simulator. There's a lot of games on there, but there's not. Discovery is a problem. Discovery is a huge problem everywhere. So, you let me know what your thoughts are about the collapse of the number of Xboxes being sold, the rise of Game Pass, the digital, and just the physical, in-person events evaporating. GameStop is gone, unless you're one of those weird cultists who are holding on to it because that Cohen guy is going to say something and pump the stock. I've watched 2 documentaries about that whole thing already so far, including Dan Olson's. Yeah. I was never a Dan... I was a Best Buy loyalist because I worked there for 10 years, and I only went to GameStop when they had the exclusive stuff that we didn't have. So a lot of releases and special editions. Like Alan Wake. When that came out, at GameStop they had the special edition that looks like a novel. Like it's like a book, and has all the extra stuff in there, and I took some pictures and put that in my Alan Wake review. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm working on Fear, the Fear trilogy. I'm working through the first game. Got to be close to the end at this point. That's the next review, number 26. And if you guys have suggestions about what's after that, we will go from there. And if you haven't watched the new Star Wars Outlaws Nth review, go check it out. It's totally dope. It's great. All right, anything? Let's get some last minute. I can still do it, my activity says. Last minute calls to action before we head out. Yahoo, are you looking forward to Fear? Now that you're hopefully going to have your frame rate doing better? I think so. That sounds like something. In the Outlaw review, thank you. Thank you. What was there anything in particular that really stood out? That was one of my favorite reviews. My favorite review is Hard Space, but that might also be because no one's seen it. No one cares about that game. And it's such a great game. Yeah, Hard Space Shipbreaker is one of the best games ever made. One of the most fun things. And I get that it's tedious for people. I get that the story is a little light. That's okay. But, oh my god. Hard Space Shipbreaker is one of the few games where I got it in early access. Vinny Caravella over at I think this was Beastcast still before he left Giant Bomb. He recommended it, and I know he didn't put too much time into it, but I got into it. I played it very early on. I watched them add all the story bits, and then I played it for review when they finally had everything, when it finally became 1.0. And gosh, that game's so fun. That game's amazing. I kind of want to play it again. I don't know if I want to do it right now, but I kind of want to play it. You haven't played the Ubisoft games. Yeah, exactly. I'm right. If you've been playing Ubisoft games regularly in the past decade, you know, Outlaws seems like, oh my God, this again? Or if you've been too immersed in the Star Wars formula, if you've been watching every single episode of everything Star Wars that's come out ever since Disney bought them, which has just escalated post-COVID. Like, yeah, I can imagine you're totally tired of Star Wars Outlaws, but as someone who's had some distance, you know, I enjoyed Outlaws despite itself, despite its limitations, despite how finely they've kind of put everything together. Which is that? Oh, GoPuff, get out of here. I don't know if you guys have GoPuff, wherever you're at. All right. Well, we're about out of time. I tried of the Ubisoft for you tired of the Ubisoft formula so long ago. I think I'd have a good time with it. Well, good. Yeah, give it a shot. Again, as I say in the review, if you're not into Star Wars Outlaws is not going to be for you. It is such a love letter and study of Star Wars, minus the lightsabers and the Force and the magic and blah, blah, blah. It would be hard to appreciate, really, if you weren't into Star Wars. Go watch my review. That review needs help. I hate to say like underperforming, but you're into Star Wars? Well, heckin'. Yeah, it's 6 out of 10 in the place here. Maybe it'll pick, maybe some algorithmic love will come around, but yeah, I'm a little bummed. I thought that would do a little better, but I loved making that review, and Red Faction before that. So, all right, it's Saturday. Everyone go relax, fix your garage door, Toker, Yahoo, Ted, have fun out there. Mouse, thank you for rating my burps as I'm working through this Baja Blast. I'm about to start working on about to film the Patreon Q&A. So if you are a paid Patreon member, you can watch that tonight. Every month, Patreon, I do a monthly Q&A, and I kind of go into more in depth. You can ask me stuff about gaming or not gaming, about anything, really. So even if you're a paid supporter, you can watch it. If you are a producer, you can actually submit questions, and that's the $5 tier and up. So, all right, go watch Outlaws. Go do it. Go watch the review. I'd like to do these a little more often. They're fun. I've got a new job, so my schedule's going to be a little different going forward, but maybe it's something I do in the morning. I don't know. You guys let me know what you're into, but I like to keep it this short. We're at 33 minutes, but I'd like to just kind of keep it this short. So, all right, let's get out of here. So let's leave. Let's make like a tree and get out of here. Freaking. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's get out of here.